And after the European qualifiers last week, we are now here with qualifier number 2 of 4. Welcome to the Global Trophy 2023, the Asian and Oceanic qualifiers. I am joined alongside
Samuel at 64, and yes, of course, after that amazing run from Italy last week, it'll be interesting to see if the other big names of Asia can keep that momentum going. Of course, we didn't see all of the champions go through last week in Europe, so it'll be interesting to see who actually does manage to make it out of the qualifiers alive for Asia. But let's see.
Yep, we saw 4 of the Global Trophy champions knocked out, leaving only, essentially, Germany and Portugal as the only 2 who have won Global Trophy championships to have actually qualified.
Yeah, of course, that doesn't mean anything. We saw last time, Czech Republic securing the bag for Europe, and they'd never won anything before, apart from the one European segment. So let's see how they get on here in Asia. Let's see how the big names and the big hitters of the Asian section deal with the pressure.
Yep, a strong lineup is really what's needed for Asia. Never been an Asian Global Trophy champion before. We'll kick off with Papua New Guinea, our dud team, who finished 8th in the preliminary league last month.
Yep, the Oceania representative, other than New Zealand and Australia this time around, Papua New Guinea are the team who are our dud team to watch out for this time.
Yep, next up, finishing 7th in the preliminary league is Yemen.
Not a bad run from Yemen. If we basically got FIFA rankings, they should have made it through, and sure enough they did, so fair play to them. But yeah, good results from Yemen made it sure that they went through to the Global Trophy Asia section qualifier.
Yep, and obviously the top 7 pretty much ran away with it in the last before the last 2 fixtures, pretty much on fixture 13. Next up, it's Turkmenistan.
Yeah, Turkmenistan, one of those teams as well, who also, by FIFA ranking, should have gone through, and sure enough they did, so fair play to Turkmenistan.
Next up, it is Myanmar.
They weren't. They were meant to finish a lot lower than what they should have done if we go off FIFA ranking. Myanmar were very impressive, just quietly chipping away results. Only lost 1 game in the preliminary league. The second best in terms of losses, apart from our winners, Malaysia, but yeah, fair play to Yemen.
Yep, next up, it is Afghanistan.
One of the favourites for the Asia section. Of course, they tend to do quite well. They tend to qualify. And sure enough, they qualified through the preliminary league this time around as well. Only 4th place for them, though.
Yep, scorers of the 16-0 drubbing in the preliminary league.
Yep, they hold the record so far, as we're recording this. Maybe it's changed, I don't know.
Might have done. Next up, it is Philippines.
They did very well. Didn't have those big standout results like, Afghanistan, Malaysia, and Indonesia did, but they quietly went about their business and picked up wins left, right, and centre. So watch out for the Philippines.
Yep, got the consistent wins there. Next up, it's Indonesia.
Former Asia section champions back in 2007. A long time ago since they won it, but, always got that pedigree, haven't they?
Yep, and next up, winning for the 3rd time in a row, I believe, the Asian Preliminary League, it's Malaysia.
So former Asia section champions back in 2010, 13 years since they took home that title.
Yep, over 100 goal difference was their goal difference during the Preliminary League. I think for the second year in a row. Really? Crazy.
Yeah, absolutely incredible performance from them.
Next up, to the teams that qualified on FIFA rankings. First up, it is... Where are they? There they are. It's North Korea.
Yep, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. I don't know how democratic it actually is there, but,
Don't know peoples either, to be fair.
It's very true.
Next up, bit of a history with this one, Thailand.
Yeah, they tend to do all right, don't they? They tend to qualify. I think they finished as runners-up or at least semi-finalists in the Asia section previously. So definitely a team to watch out for. Yeah, Thailand are a pretty decent side.
Are they a former Asian champion?
They are not.
They are not? Ah,
no, never.
Very
never
interesting
won
on that one. You expect for them to at least be once.
Yep, they've never won it.
Fair enough. Next up, India.
Also have never won the Asian section. India have... It surprised me that India aren't better at football because their population is so big. Like, surely 11 of the 1 billion inhabitants of India must be pretty good at football, right?
Yeah, so like a complete opposite of Croatia from last week.
Yeah, exactly.
Next up, the second team representing Oceania, it is New Zealand.
They've never outperformed Australia ever at a global trophy in any of the previous 17 occasions. Maybe this year, maybe they can progress a round further than Australia or something, but they've never done it before.
Didn't they do that once?
I can't remember. They may have. No,
I
I
think
think
they might have done it in Asian section a couple of years ago.
I think they went out the same round. I really do.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
It might have been. Next up, well, it's 2 days before Christmas, so the tree country is probably a good one to have here. Lebanon.
Lebanon. Yeah, they're certainly one of the teams in the Asian section, aren't they?
Certainly are. Next up, Vietnam.
Good morning, Vietnam. If it's morning there, I don't know if it's morning there or not.
I don't know, really. It's more, well, it's afternoon. Well, I'm putting this through at like 3 o'clock, so afternoon here. It might be.
I think it's probably late at night, I think.
Good dusk, Vietnam. Next up, the Kyrgyz Republic, which is at least a better name than Kyrgyzstan, but, you know, still.
Yeah, Kyrgyz Republic, I don't remember the last time they actually qualified. It's been a while since they have, certainly.
Certainly has. I mean, we usually see like Afghanistan, Tajikistan, and Turkmenistan have qualified in recent memory, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Tajikistan as early as last year, in fact. They're in the top 8 for this one. Next up, it's Palestine.
Palestine, of course. It's weird that Palestine are in the Asian section and yet Israel are in the European one. It's a very unusual situation considering they share a lot of land mass and have obviously lots of conflicts about how they share their land. So it's a bit weird how they're in different sections, but there you go.
Then we got like Kazakhstan's in Europe.
Yep.
On that as well, so... You know, very odd on that one. Next up, it is Syria.
Yep, Syria, kind of in that Middle Eastern area of the world. I think did they qualify a few years ago? I can't remember.
Yes, yeah, it might have been the 2020 tournament or the 21 tournament.
I thought so.
Certainly, very recently on that one for Syria. Next up, it's Jordan.
Of course, the Australia Killers back in 2019, the first time Australia had ever lost in local competition.
Yep, and of course, recently they had that rematch last year where Australia got their revenge on Jordan. So, 1-1, looking for that rubber match, maybe.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get to see it in the not-too-distant future. Next
up, it's China.
China are 3-time Asian section champions in 2009, 2011, and 2019. One of the best teams in Asian global trophy history, so keep an eye out for them. They always want to watch out for.
Yep, and next up it is Uzbekistan.
I can't say they've ever qualified in recent memory either, have they? I don't think so.
Not in recent memory, no, but they're higher in FIFA ranks than China.
They've got some decent players these days, Uzbekistan, yeah. I think. Yeah.
Next up, it's Oman.
Oh man, oh man, oh man.
God, you make that one every year.
Sorry, I had to. It's tradition at this point, right?
Can't wait for next week, eh? What's next week?
Could be anything.
What's next week? I wonder. Next up, it's Qatar.
Yeah, the World Cup host for 2022. That went well for them.
Well, they hosted it at least. They can say that much. Didn't do very well in the tournament, though.
They did not do very well in the tournament. They got knocked out pretty convincingly, didn't they?
Yep. Next up, first of the teams to have a sting in this tournament, or in this Asian qualifiers, it's South Korea.
Of course, former runners-up of the Global Trophy, and of course they were in the last 16 of the World Cup just gone in 2022. In that amazing game they played against Portugal where they beat them. Really a really good team, but they've never won an Asian section. Can you believe it?
Yeah, no trophies to their name, but they're ranked 17th in the Global Trophy altogether. Runners-up of the Global Trophy altogether in 2016.
Yep, losing out in the final to Spain on that occasion.
Next up, 3-time Asian section champions, it's Iran.
Yep, winners in 2005, 2013 and 2020. Iran are one of the powerhouses of Asian football in terms of the Global Trophy. Watch out for them in this competition.
Yep, ranked 18th at the moment in the Global Trophy ranking, so quite highly rated.
Absolutely.
Next up, we get our top 8, who all qualified for this qualifiers due to making it through to the Global Trophy Finals last year round. First up, it's the only stand that did, Tajikistan.
Tajikistan, probably one of the strongest stands of the many stands that are participating in this competition. Yeah, they did very well actually. Made it to the top 8. Well done to them.
Yep. Next up, a team potentially on the decline here, but they are 4-time Asian champions, Saudi Arabia.
Of course, former semi-finalists of the Global Trophy proper. They knocked Germany out a couple of years ago, if you remember. And of course, had that amazing match against eventual World Cup winners Argentina in 2022. Of course, they beat them. So, watch out for the Saudis.
Yep, ranked 13th in the Global Trophy rankings. Asian champions in 2006, 2012, 2014, and 2015. So one time they were back-to-back champions.
Yep, absolutely. One of only 2 teams who have won the Asian section back-to-back.
And next up, it is Kuwait.
They've had a bit of a decent run, Kuwait, haven't they, in recent years? I think they've qualified in successive years for the last couple of years, certainly.
Yep, and that got them their shot at the Champion of Champions. They didn't make the most of it, nor did Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia being knocked out for the second champions in a row in the group stage. And Kuwait pretty much failing as well at that point.
Yeah, shame for them.
Next up, it is Japan.
2-time Asian section champions in 2008 and 2021. And of course, were magnificent, weren't they, at the World Cup in 2022. They obviously beat Spain and Germany to get out of that group. It was sensational.
I still love the fact that there was at one point, for 3 minutes, that Costa Rica and Japan were going to go through, and Spain and Germany were going home.
That's what you want to see, right? That is absolutely prime World Cup banter. It really is.
Certainly is. Japan ranked 15th in the Global Trophy rankings. But yep, 2-time Asian champions.
They are indeed.
Next up, we get the teams that finished in the semi-finals. First up, it's Bahrain.
Yep, Bahrain, in recent years, again, have done quite well in the Asian section. Fair play to them. They've not been, I wouldn't say they're a powerhouse of world football, certainly not, but fair enough. They keep qualifying in this competition, so yeah, credit to them.
And next up, it is Iraq.
Normally don't do as well as their neighbours Iran, but they've been qualifying it as well a lot more in recent years, so fair play to Iraq. Watch out for them here. Probably won't be the favourites to go through and win the whole thing, but you never know.
Yep. Next up, a team that made it through to the round of 16 of the Champion of Champions recently, the UAE.
One of the best Asian teams that never won the Asian section in their history. They've never won a trophy, but they're one of the stronger Asian teams, certainly. Have been finalists on more than one occasion in the Asian section, so keep an eye out for them.
Yep, of course, finished runner-up last year to the team with the most amount of trophies in the history of the Global Trophy, 15-time continental champions, Australia, the reigning champions of Asia.
Yeah, of course, they are the other Asian teams who have won back-to-back trophies. They've won back-to-back Asian trophies in 2016, 17, and 18, before, of course, having a little bit of a barren spell. Didn't win for 3 years. They're back now as the Asian section champions, and of course, when there was the old Oceania and Asia split before they joined together as one area of competition, Australia won every single year.
Yep, 11 years in a row, unbeaten in Oceania. They moved to the Asian section when the split was essentially dissolved, and went on to win 3 consecutive Asian championships. So that's 14 years Australia was unbeaten in continental qualifiers. 15 trophies to their name, more than any other team in this tournament.
I think, yeah, they've got one more trophy than Argentina, I think, right?
Yep, Argentina have 14.
Oh no, they won the Champion of Champions. They're level now.
No, Argentina still have 14. They're 10-time continental champions, 1 Champion of Champions, and 3 Global Trophy championships. So they're on 14.
Right.
Australia's got 15.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Wow.
Australia
still the holders. Well, don't forget to save state, Chris.
I will. I'm just going to get to Fiji, and then I'm going to do my shaving staging.
Papua New Guinea.
Oh yeah, crap. Sorry. It's probably back up there now, isn't it? There he is. Right.
There you go.
Shave. Who
Let's
knows?
see
Might
what
not
we
need it. We don't need it.
Oh, see,
2 in a
look at
row.
this. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable scenes. Right.
There's a lot of big hitters missing here, aren't there?
Yeah. Okay, Iraq kicking off. So, yeah, quarterfinals last time round. Australia beat them in the past versus Vietnam to kick off.
of course, I think they've also been formally in the quarterfinals, Vietnam, in recent years. So watch out for them here. Iraq versus Vietnam to kick things off in the Asia section.
It's a win for Vietnam, 3-2, and Iraq fall in round 1.
Yep, the former semi-finalists of the Asian section. Next up is Thailand, who get the bye against Papua New Guinea. So Thailand will go through to play their neighbours, Vietnam.
Yep, that's going to be a very interesting crunch match. Winner goes through to the Global Trophy Finals. So, yeah, very interesting start. We have our referee, obviously, Mr. Accident.
I was going to say, is Axie his first name?
Yeah, Axie's probably his first name. Wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear me.
Could be Andy.
Nah, Axie. AXI.
Andy Dent.
Oh, dear. Well, so far so good for Thailand. So far so good for Vietnam. And then next up, in the round of 32 for the Asian section, we have the UAE finalists from last season taking on Uzbekistan.
Yep, Uzbekistan, one of the highest ranked Asian teams that weren't in the top 8 last time round. They've lost to UAE 2-1, so UAE through for a battle with either North Korea or Oman.
I don't know who the favourite is here. You'd probably say North Korea may be the favourites.
Might be on this one. Oman win 4-0.
Big result for Oman. They go through to the next round to play the UAE. Next up it is New Zealand, the other Oceania team, taking on the preliminary team who finished 4th, Afghanistan.
Yep, New Zealand could, if they can get past Afghanistan, they could have a really good opportunity here. It is a win for New Zealand on penalties. They go through to the round of 16.
They will play either Tajikistan, top 8 from last year, or India, one of the big Asian powerhouse nations.
It's a winnable game for New Zealand. So they say that
Certainly
much.
Is.
And Tajikistan go through. So they're looking to make their second Global Trophy Finals in a row, but they've got to get past New Zealand.
Tricky Yask, isn't it, really? Indonesia, second place in the Asian Preliminary League, taking on Kuwait last season, a top 8 finisher in the Asian section.
Yep, automatic qualified due to that top 8 placing. Kuwait go through just barely on penalties.
Beating the former Asian champions, Indonesia, they are out. China, also former Asian champions, taking on Jordan, the Australia Killers.
The Australia Killers right here. China win, Jordan gone as well.
They are gone, eliminated. Bahrain, of course, top 4 in the Asian section last time, taking on Myanmar, who were a preliminary qualifier this year.
Yep, finished 5th in the preliminaries this year. And they've gone through. Myanmar beat Bahrain.
It's a shocker. Myanmar through to the round of 16 to take on either Yemen, another preliminary qualifier, or Lebanon.
Yep, Yemen, who finished 7th in the preliminary league. Lebanon, whose rank's not really incredibly good, just one above New Zealand. It is Yemen, so we are going to have a pre-qualifier going through.
Just like in the Asian section with Romania, we are going to have a preliminary qualifier through to the Global Trophy Finals from Asia. Next up is the Kyrgyz Republic against one of the big hitters from Asia, Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia quarterfinalists in the Asian section last time rounds. 12-1, Saudi Arabia stamping authority on the Kyrgyz Republic.
They really have there. Of course, they are level with Australia for most amount of Asian section championships. And they go through to play either Syria or Turkmenistan.
Turkmenistan finished 6th in their in the preliminaries. Syria very recently have qualified, I think in the last couple of years, for the Global Trophy Finals. So is Turkmenistan.
Yep, big match this.
2 teams on decent form here. Syria go through.
Japan will play Qatar. Now, if I'm trying to work out... Oh, no, we could still have the other team separated, but we haven't seen Australia yet. We haven't seen the UAE yet. Oh, have we? No, we did. Sorry, ignore me. But we haven't seen South Korea yet either.
Yeah, could be a very big crunch match there. Japan versus Qatar, though. It's 2-0 Japan, and there it is. South Korea versus Australia.
Probably the biggest 2 teams in the Asian section take each other on, and only for a place in the round of 16 against Japan.
Yep, so we could be seeing a bunch of big teams fall. Australia knock out South Korea. South Korea out again early.
A massive win and a massive stamp of authority from Australia. They go through to the round of 16 to play Japan. Palestine play the preliminary champions, Malaysia.
Malaysia looking to add to them giant goal tally here. Only one, but they'll take it. They'll go through, but they got either Philippines or one of the best Asian teams, Iran.
Got a favour around here against the Philippines, although Philippines did play well in the preliminaries.
Yep, finished third in that. 3-0 Iran, so Iran will take on Malaysia in round 2.
Well, look at this. We have a lot of the big hitters still in, but some have obviously got home already. South Korea, already out. Indonesia, of course, out as well. The former Asian section champions there. All the other champions of the Asian section still in.
Yep, some have to play each other, like Australia, Japan, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. First up, in the round of 16, to qualify for the Global Trophy Finals, it is Vietnam versus Thailand, the neighbours.
Yep, winner goes through to the Global Trophy Finals. It's Thailand, they're through! 1-0!
Well done to Thailand. They progressed through to the next round, and of course through to the round of 8 for the Asian section to play either the UAE or Oman.
Yep, UAE runners-up. Oman, quite highly ranked in the rankings here. UAE do go through. They're through to another Global Trophy Final.
In penalties, well done to the UAE there. And next up it is Tajikistan, going for back-to-back top 8 finishes in Asia, taking on New Zealand, the other Oceania team, the little brother, supposedly, to Australia.
Yep, looking to try and stamp their mark for the Global Trophy Finals. They don't! Tajikistan through to consecutive back-to-back Global Trophy Finals now.
Performance from Tajikistan, and they will play in the next round either Kuwait or China. Kuwait, of course, made it to the top 8 last time. China did not.
Kuwait also looking for back-to-backs here. They do! Kuwait's also there!
They've knocked China out, the 3-time Asia section champions eliminated.
Myanmar now will take on Yemen in a battle of the preliminary teams. One of these two makes it through to the Global Trophy Finals and doesn't have to pre-qualify again.
5th versus 7th from the preliminaries. Who's going through to the Asian section quarterfinals here?
It's Myanmar, they're through!
Yemen defeated. Myanmar through to the top 8 of Asia.
Saudi Arabia. They shouldn't bottle this, but geez, we've seen in history that they can. It's Syria versus Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, the red-hot favourites, the 4-time Asian section champions.
They're through 2-0, back-to-back for Saudi Arabia as well.
Well done to the Saudis. They will go through to the next round. Now, this is probably the fixture of the round of 16. It is Japan versus Australia. They have 6 Asian section titles between the two of them. They are the 2 most recent champions. One has to go home without any further play to be had.
Certainly do on this one. Australia's gone! Japan's through!
Japan eliminate Australia. They will not participate in the Global Trophy Finals this year.
Yep, only for the 2nd year. Australia have failed to make the Global Trophy Finals. Malaysia, Iran to finish off this top 8.
2 former champions. Malaysia in 2010, Iran in 2005, 2013, 2020.
It's Malaysia! Iran's gone as well!
The preliminary winners are through and will not have to pre-qualify next year. They don't have to do the 3-peats.
Yep, or the 4-peat in this one. Malaysia through. So Malaysia and Myanmar both through from the preliminary league.
Fantastic stuff. And we are going to have potentially a new Asian section champion, certainly for the first time since 2021. First up, Thailand take on the UAE, the runners-up from last year.
Yep, good chance for UAE to try and make it to another final here. It is a win for UAE. 1-0, they're in the semis again.
Take on probably the easier of the fixtures in Tajikistan and Kuwait. Both of them back-to-backing qualification to the Global Trophy Finals. Who goes through to play the UAE?
Yep, both of them knocked out in the quarterfinals last time round, so one of them's going to make it one further, and it's Kuwait going through. 2-0.
Kuwait through to play UAE in the semi-finals of the Asian section. Myanmar, the preliminary qualifiers, finished in 5th in that league, taking on probably the best Asian team left in Saudi Arabia.
Yep, Saudi Arabia looking maybe for another championship in Asia here. 9-1!
Unbelievable from... They've won 12-1 and 9-1 so far. Unbelievable stuff from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but they could have a very tough semi-final. It's Japan-Malaysia for a shot at that semi-final.
2 former champions as well, so we are going to have 1 former champion in the final.
Japan's beat Malaysia 5-1, so Japan-Saudi Arabia in the semis.
Gunning for it. Kuwait versus UAE first up, though. The 2 underdogs, I think, left in this competition.
Yeah, one of them is going to go through to the final. It's Kuwait!
Kuwait make it through. UAE knocked out this tie. They don't make it to back-to-back finals in Asia.
Yep, Kuwait quarterfinalists last time round. Now in the finals, they take on Saudi Arabia or Japan.
It's the favourite here. It's probably Saudi Arabia, the favourite, surely.
Probably both teams knocked out in the quarterfinals last time round in the Asian qualifiers. One of them has a chance to get another trophy to their name. Japan beat them!
Japan into the final to play Kuwait. Japan probably the favourites for their third Asian Section Championship. Or will it be Kuwait's first ever?
Yep, it could be Japan's second in 3 years. It is Japan! Their third Asian Championship and their second in 3 years. Japan have made it to another mountaintop and win the Asian section for the third time in their history.
In some style as well. They've knocked out Australia, they knocked out Malaysia, they knocked out Saudi Arabia, and obviously beating Kuwait in the final. The icing on top of the cake. Phenomenal performance from the Japanese.
Yep, so to follow on alongside Italy, Denmark, Portugal, Romania, Russia, Scotland, Ukraine and Germany, we have Thailand, the UAE, Tajikistan, Kuwait, Myanmar, Saudi Arabia, Japan, and Malaysia, joining those 8 European teams in the Global Trophy Finals.
It's a shame to see no South Korea and no Australia, of course, from the Asian section, but not a bad lineup, certainly. You know, three former winners.
Yep. UAE, who've very recently done decently in the Champion of Champions, of course, finishing in the top 16.
Yeah, and Kuwait as well will be happy with this because this will obviously boost their opportunities for the 2026 Global Trophy Championship, and obviously, you know, Japan as well.
Yep, definitely when it comes to that. So, big performances from Japan, big performances from Kuwait and Saudi Arabia. Decent run for them. You know, they all have a shot at it. In the end, Europe's looking slightly weakened, I'd say. So, there's chances here for a non-European winner for the first time in 7 years.
Well, so far so good for the Asian teams. I think they'll be happy with their lineup, certainly. You know, obviously, of course, missing out the big name Australia and probably South Korea as well, but it's not a bad lineup, is it?
Yep, certainly isn't. And, well, we're halfway through when it comes to the getting these 32 teams that we need for the Global Trophy Finals. 16 have already made it. And next week, it's the African Qualifiers. Will Comoros do it again?
Well, it's different representation this time for Comoros, though. They won't be represented by Lithuania. We won't spoil who it is representing them, but it's a different team.
Yep, but they are European, so you never know, do you?
No, not at all.
Anyway, guys, that is going to be it from the Asian qualifiers here at the Global Trophy 2023. Japan winning their third Asian Championship. They will be moving on to the Global Trophy Finals alongside 7 other teams to take on the European choices. And we've still got Africa and America to go. Next week, it will be the African qualifiers. I've been Masterath.
I've been Samuel at 64.
We'll see you next week for the African qualifiers. Comoros looking to defend the African Championship. We'll see you then.